Hey there everyone, Mazarok here, and today I want to kind of test out a new series I've been thinking about, and we'll call it DM-spirations, where I kind of look at pop culture, movies, books, TV shows, and kind of look into it and what you can gather from it as a DM to kind of improve your game. And for the first one, I was thinking about one of the weirdest podcasts I've ever listened to, and I've absolutely fallen in love with. Welcome to Night Vale. So, stay tuned. Let's see what we can come up with. Welcome to Night Vale is a podcast that started in 2012, created by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Craner. It is mainly narrated by Cecil Baldwin, and their podcast is kind of like the success story of what can go viral. They started off really, really small, and they just grew, and they started doing live shows that I'd love to attend. If 2020 could get any better, I would love to attend one, but it is what it is. And it is about this fictional town called Night Vale, where normal is crazy and crazy is normal. I guess it's the best way that I could try and describe it to somebody. But it seems like just a completely normal town, but it's entirely tweaked in like super hilarious, horrific ways. It's just things that they say, how they view things, things like that, and it really makes your head turn. Like I've done the head turn, like wait, what was that? While listening to it on my headphones. Like it just this weird way of kind of working things around. The series has also spawned 3 novels. Welcome to Night Vale, It Devours, and The Faceless Old Woman Who Secretly Lives in Your Home. I have personally read Welcome to Night Vale and The Secret Old Woman, the Faceless Old Woman Who Secretly Lives in Your Home, and I will be starting It Devours very soon. Just kind of, I have a lot on my reading plate at the moment, and some things have come out, so Brandon Sanderson. So I'm kind of in the point of trying to catch up on a backlog of reading to do as life would permit, but I would much rather have a backlog of reading to do in my life than no books at all. So, good problem to have. And this town, and so the story is based around a narrator, Cecil Baldwin, who works at a community radio station within Night Vale. And he does his regular news broadcasting and kind of community spotlights and things like that. And it's all really weird. And I love the way that they do the weather, for example. So like the weather is just they highlight an indie musician. Doesn't matter what genre they are, but it's just every episode you're going to hear some musician that most likely you've never heard of, unless you're kind of like super deep into like a very specific thing. But I've heard all sorts of new musicians on there, and I absolutely love it. But going back to the town itself, the town is on another level of horrifyingly weird, and I absolutely love it. It is great. When you start getting into the town and how it's built, it seems innocent when they talk about it, but then you start building it. You start drawing it. You start making the mental map in your head, and it starts getting a whole lot weirder. Anybody that has, of course, listen to Night Vale, if I mention the dog park, you know what I mean. Versus a person that hasn't, like, oh, a dog park, it's so innocent. It's not. But that's just things that go on. So I'll just kind of give you a few quotes. So if you've never listened to Welcome to Night Vale, go ahead and, check it out. So I'll give you 3 quotes from it. 4, actually. One of them is my absolute favorite. They have it on a t-shirt that I've been wanting to buy for a while. But it's, if you're happy and you know it, no, you don't. Remember that misuse of language can lead to miscommunication, and that miscommunication leads to everything that has happened in the whole of the world. She left the shower as most people leave showers, clean and a little lonely. And we are skipping Friday this week, but we'll make up for it by having double Friday next week. Mark your schedules. Again, it's just this weird way of going about life in this fictional town that's absolutely amazing. I can go on into it deeper, but that's not what this is. So what I, as a DM, have taken away from Night Vale, having listened to it, number 1 is a cue on creating NPCs. the NPCs in Night Vale are the personas that they build around them. So I'm going to look at this through a DM world building. So the NPCs in Night Vale that aren't Cecil Baldwin are, for the most part, really, really memorable. And that's because they've taken something normal and tweaked it on the most part. Like, there was an episode with Felicia Day, who she was a zookeeper trying to talk about the tarantulas reading programs. Again, you start getting into these things, but just hearing those words, it's memorable. It's in your head. So it's taken something innocent, a zookeeper, and added something really weird, like tarantula reading programs. So this is a cue that you can take for your NPCs. If you think they're a little bit bland or a little bit normal or a little bit too just kind of expected right out of the box, like, oh, that's the shifty bard. Oh, that's the barkeep that's just kind of doesn't want anything to do. Take something and make it weird about them. Something normal. I had in one of my games, I had an innkeep who had a missing eye. I actually like creating characters with missing eyes in my games, but that's just me. Had a missing eye, but refused to tell anyone how they lost their eye. I put in some rumors about it within the bar, that people would talk about how that the barkeep had lost his eye, but the quirk was he would never tell the same story twice, even to the same person. That was his quirk. He would never ever tell the truth, but he would never tell the same person. So if the one person came up and asked, he would give them the story of he was fighting off a wolf in the wolves in the woods one day. That same person could come up to him 5 minutes later and ask him how did he lose his eye, and he will come up with a different story. He was running with scissors and he fell on his eye. Just anything I could come up with on the spot. And it became this like really fun, weird game. But that NPC became insanely memorable. So just take something normal and make it weird. Or you know what I mean? That's one of the big things that I got from it, and I really, really love it. Also is how you can take a weird setting like a modern day town and plop it into any setting of your choice. Eberron, Forgotten Realms, anything like that. Instead of a community radio host, you have a weird town crier that just walks around or sits there and talks to people, and people will gather and listen. Maybe he's got some weird cans on a string scenario that he's loaded up to get people to listen to in his house. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it. But is how you can make even the weirdest of towns and plop it into any setting, because there is zero reason why this town should fit in any modern day world, let alone fantasy, but they do it, and they do it so incredibly well. So it's just taking that weird and plopping it into a setting. That's one of the few things that I've gotten from this, and kind of how you can do it is all in the writing and the planning and the mindset going in. And lastly is how to take standard lore in any of your settings, whether it's yours or Forgotten Realms, Eberron, whatever you name it, and turn it on its head with a tweak in-game. Again, it's the same kind of thing as NPCs, but on a much larger major scale. So for example, in Night Vale, there are angels. Except all of the angels are female. They're all named Erica, and they always ask for $5. They just always ask for $5. And in Night Vale, the existence of angels, to acknowledge the existence of angels is an actual crime, because they do not officially exist. Even though they're all female, they're all named Erica, and they all bum for $5. People literally in Night Vale will ignore them because they can't acknowledge their existence. You can take that with Celestials and just really change something. It's not about reinventing the wheel to make it memorable and creating your own homebrew setting with a vast expanse of everything, but you can take things from standard lore, tweak it in just a weird way, but that weird way, once you start thinking about it, okay, well, if these Celestials are all named Erica, how does that impact how people start viewing Celestials? And then it just ripples out from there. And it's taking that minor tweak into a ripple and changing it for the larger world that I think is one of the things Welcome to Night Vale can teach dungeon masters how to do, just by listening to it and having fun and viewing it through that lens of a DM, which the more and more that I listen and read and watch new things, I always have that lens now where I'm like, oh damn, that'd be a great campaign hook. And it doesn't matter whether I'm watching like Sons of Anarchy or or Barbarians or whatever. It's just kind of how it works. So those are the three weird things that I got from Welcome to Night Vale, having listened to it for a while now. I started listening to it back when COVID became a thing. It really did get me through that first COVID quarantine when we were kind of all stuck here, not being able to do much. I listened to about 120 episodes. They're only about 20-30 minutes long a piece, but I laughed hysterically. His sign-offs are always really weird. One of my favorite ones, it was like, stay tuned for the sound of a balloon popping. And then it goes through their last little bit of ads and stuff, and it's just dead silence. And I was wondering, it's like, it's not going on to the next episode? And then all you heard was, pop! Just the weird things that they do. It's great. So if you like weird horror podcasts, I highly suggest Welcome to Night Vale. Just watch it through the lens of a DM. Listen to it through the lens of a DM for this one, actually. But there's a lot of weird horror aspects that you can take from it and bring it into a fantasy world and have a lot of fun with it. And I think this is a prime example of what a DM can do absolutely right at their table. So I stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'm streaming World of Warcraft. I got more World of Warcraft videos coming in the works. As well as Sundays is the D&D game, 7 p.m. Eastern, Rime of the Frostmaiden. Come on by, check that out. It's been lots of fun. We had a little bit of a slow session last time, but you know what? You need some slow sessions from time to time because it kind of alleviates some of the pressure, but things are building. Check the Etsy shop down below, and if you need some DM resources, my Patreon is there as well if you'd like to support the channel directly. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz. I know this can go on forever. I hope everybody's having fun at their tables or on their virtual tabletops. COVID's a wonderful thing for that, but as long as you're playing and you're having fun, that's all that matters. Have yourselves a good day, and thank you very much for watching.